All right, this is another one of the Pendulum of Wealth videos in my free video series. And this one is dedicated to real estate and Airbnb. And as always, I go ahead and I put in the description of what a Pendulum of Wealth is so that you understand. If you're seeing this, if you see any of the videos with POW in the description, you know that it's a Pendulum of Wealth video, and you can learn how to put the Pendulum of Wealth in that industry to work or in place for you. And in this one, it's super exciting. Like I said, it's combining real estate and Airbnb to create the pendulum of wealth. Now, what is a pendulum of wealth? Well, the pendulum of wealth is the key component to every passive income stream. You will not be able to find a single passive income stream out there that does not have a pendulum of wealth component in it. And if it does, it's not a true passive income stream. And here's why. Because a pendulum of wealth is a process that turns a profit on autopilot that you can set in place and leave to turn out wealth for you, then rinse and repeat as the pendulum swings. I'm going to break down the different pendulums of wealth I've either seen or personally implement and show you how to set each of the pendulum of wealth up for yourself. This video is about amassing real estate and leveraging Airbnb to pay your mortgages. The wealthy will purchase real estate, fill the property with Airbnb clients month round to pay the mortgage, and use the equity to buy more homes. Now here's some terms you should know. FHL is first-time homeowners loan, right? On homes roughly up to $700,000. If you've never purchased a home before, you're allowed to just put down 3% of the property's value, and the bank will match you on the rest so that you can go ahead and purchase the home, and then you just pay them off, right? HELOC is a home equity line of credit, and this is an approved for amount that the bank will lend you of the equity you already put into your home. And it comes with some terms that fluctuate based on the housing market and on the relationship with your bank, and with some credit requirements as well. The wealthy will target 3 to 5 bedroom homes in that $400,000 to $700,000 range. Rent furniture for the home, so it's live-in ready. Then list each room on Airbnb, and there's several other competitors. Each room will make $375 to $500 per week in boring or conservative towns, and some listings can go for thousands per week and be an excuse to buy a luxury property in more poppin' cities. The numbers make sense. A 4-bedroom property in a slow city will pull in $6,000 to $8,000 per month, while the mortgage and cost will combine for about $2,000 per month, making the wealthy $4,000 to $6,000 per month per property, and putting roughly $20,000 in usable equity into each property yearly, hands-free to them. Things get silly when you stop and realize from there, the banks only want 10% to 20% down, depending upon your credit and the price of the next property, and they will back you ongoing. And that's only if we're talking about people with credit like mine or like us on the way up. Once you already have that established good credit that comes with relationships and with building it from instances and moves like this, the banks are actually going to ease off of that. As you see there in parentheses, I put 5% down once they have an established relationship with you and you have good credit. So some of you may already be in that instance from there, but from there, the leverage starts to come into play. You can take the profits from each property and use them as a down payment roughly every 5 months. And pulling out that $20K a year in equity lets the wealthy grab a third property every year from each property they have set up as a pendulum of wealth. That's over 200 properties in 5 years if you just let the pendulum swing. Now, what that actually means is you would have made $80 million in real estate. $4 million per year in usable equity going into their properties. And the wealthy will have created $800,000 per month to $1.2 million per month in profit coming in from the Airbnb clients and overall what goes past the mortgage spend, obviously. They also would have the ability to dump that $800,000 to $1.2 million per month into the properties, then leverage a HELOC to get to spend up to 90% of that as tax-free funds. Because remember, you don't pay taxes on debt. And that was pretty perfect timing. You see a Zillow ad just popped up as I am obviously giving this Airbnb and real estate free video. So our phones are listening. And the ability to write off the mortgage of every property you pull a HELOC out on, whether they have an Airbnb client in them or not. Guys, that is what I alluded to on the first couple of videos as well. This is the main video that kind of gives you a clear illustration of why that's possible, but you can turn around after doing this. Any property that you pull out a HELOC on and that you use it for business purposes or for whatever purposes that you can directly correlate and show that it's turning you a profit, you can then turn around and write your mortgages off as a tax write-off. Right. So many advantages to putting this into play for yourself. And as you may have noticed, as you may be alluding to, as you may be waiting for later on in this series, all of these kind of things so far could be tied in together. The wealthy could very easily create and hold these different assets and make them play into each other and be able to profit off of having all of these pendulums in place for themselves. So I appreciate you watching this video. And remember, this is not financial advice. That was just a fact of life.